All right, I've been using this iPhone Air for about a week now, and I gotta say, it is hands down the best phone that Apple released this year. The design is absolutely incredible. It is ridiculously thin. I love the titanium finish on the edge of the phone. It's beautiful. The display is absolutely outstanding, super responsive, and great for gaming. The single camera on the back is excellent, and technically it's a dual camera, and I think it does a fantastic job of taking photos and recording YouTube videos. Hey everyone, Tech Dad here, and this iPhone Air is almost perfect. It has everything that we want in an iPhone. It has the most powerful processing chip, the A19 Pro, and you can absolutely tell how powerful it is when you're playing video games on it. And the design of this phone is super sexy. You are absolutely going to fall in love with it if you get this model. But with all of its positives, there are a couple of things about this phone that I wish were just a little bit better. And I understand sacrifices have to be made when you're making a phone this thin, but still, if a couple of features about this phone were just a little bit better, this would be the perfect iPhone. So in this video, I want to talk about my experience I've had with this phone over the past week. I want to talk about its design, I want to talk about its battery life and how that's going for me and what data is coming back regarding battery usage. And I want to talk about the couple of shortcomings that this phone has that might actually be deal breakers for some people. All right, let's get into it. Okay, first, let's talk about the design of the phone. So, obviously, it's the thinnest iPhone ever made. It's 5.6 millimeters thin, and the design is absolutely stunning. Now, as I said, the rim of the phone is made of titanium, and I really think that gives this phone the extra polish because it's just so shiny and beautiful. It really has an edge over that aluminum finish that the iPhone 17 Pro has. Now, the whole phone isn't made of titanium. The back has their new ceramic shield, and so you've got like a matte finish back there. It picks up fingerprints a little bit, but nothing terrible. Overall, I think the phone is absolutely gorgeous, and I love that they made it in space black. And they didn't bring that color out in the Pro, which was really disappointing. You have just one bump out right here, and all the guts of the phone are pretty much in this bump. In fact, you can feel the heat pulsating off of this section of the phone when you're playing a video game. And that's because that A19 Pro processor is right underneath there. And so obviously the design is what is attracting people to this phone. We want that new futuristic thin phone, and the iPhone Air absolutely delivers. I love how it feels in my pocket, so this is a much better feel from the iPhone 16 Pro Max that I was carrying around in my pocket. Once you put a bulky case on that thing, it was absolutely huge. So the screen size is just a little bit smaller at 6.5 inches as opposed to the Pro Max, which is 6.9. And it's a lot easier to use in one hand, which is why I really love it over that Pro Max. So I think they've discovered the sweet spot here on thinness and screen size. Now, most of you are probably going to want to put a case on this phone, and so I want to talk about a few case options. And MagEasy is today's sponsor, and they have sent over a few different cases for me to try out and take a look at with this iPhone Air. And the first case I think is going to be the most popular. It's called their Light M, and this case features an ultra thin design. With this case, you get almost a bare device experience. It's only 0.7 millimeters thin. This is the most minimalistic case I've ever seen. Buttons work great on this case, and there's a nice little bump out here to protect your camera in case you drop the phone. I like that. This case also has some sleek metal buttons here, and it is MagSafe compatible, which is very important to me. Now, if you want something with a little bit more protection, they do have the Bright M. The biggest feature about this one is that even though it's clear, you have awesome UV protection. So this is a no yellowing case, so this case will not turn yellow even if it has prolonged exposure to UV light. This case has been tested for over 192 hours of UV exposure and still does not turn yellow, so that's pretty awesome. Now, if you're looking for a case with even more protection and a case that has compatibility with a crossbody strap, MagEasy has their Roam M series. There's good solid protection all around the edging of the phone with this case, and you've got some hooks here where you can connect their crossbody strap so you can carry your phone hands-free, and this is also compatible with the new Apple crossbody strap, so you can use that one as well. My personal favorite of all these cases is the light case. I like it because it keeps the thin form factor of the phone. I'll leave a link in the description below for these products. Make sure you check out that light case especially. All right, next, let's talk about the display and that A19 Pro chip. And so you've got a killer display in this iPhone Air, up to 3000 nits of brightness, and I actually tested this with the bright windows that are behind me. You can have sunlight shining directly onto this screen and it will crank its brightness up so that it still displays beautifully. And you can really see that here. Even when I'm gaming and the sun is shining directly on the phone, it still looks awesome. Colors look good. This phone does really well in bright sunlight. And that new A19 processor is killer good. So it displays and runs high-end games extremely well. League of Legends Wild Rift can really push a device with its graphics, and the iPhone Air absolutely churns through it no problem. Now, you will get some heat put off, like I said. It does produce a decent amount of heat, but nothing terrible. I absolutely love gaming on this phone because it's so light and easy to hold in hand. I played Destiny Rising for hours on the first day that I got this phone. I absolutely couldn't put it down. And honestly, that leads me to the shortcomings, and I think you're going to guess the first one, which is battery life. So let's just take a deep dive into battery life here for a second. So you can see here in the settings that I can check and see how the battery life is going. Well, the first day I had it, I burned through 120% of the battery capacity, and that's mainly because I was playing Destiny Rising for over 2 hours. And so when you game on any device, that's going to churn through battery, but yeah, I had to charge about 3 times that day to keep this phone going. But you'll notice the rest of the week when I didn't do as much gaming that the phone actually lasted all day. And I'm talking about getting up at 6 a.m. and putting it on the charger around 9. You can see that some other big battery drain sources are when I record with it. So when I use Final Cut Camera, that's really taxing on the battery, but I was still able to use the phone all day and record a video with it and still not have to charge it. So am I grumbling about the battery life? It's actually pretty darn good. Still lasts all day on regular usage, but if you're a really heavy phone user, or you do a lot of gaming on your phone, or you do a lot of recording on your phone, this thing's gonna die midday for sure. So that might be a deal breaker for some of you. I used to have my 16 Pro Max and it absolutely had no problem with battery life no matter how much I filmed or gamed on it. So that is definitely one of the sacrifices that we're dealing with here with this thin phone. Now the second shortcoming isn't as big a deal, I don't think, but I have to say the speakers on this phone are not very good. That's also a big deal when you're gaming. You want to hear all that high-end quality sound. Well, I can definitely tell a difference between the Pro Max and this phone. Just doesn't have very good sound. Another way I test it is I use this phone for white noise, so I have this white noise app that plays like a fan sound when I go to bed, and I have to turn it almost all the way up, and on my old phone I didn't have to do that. So I can clearly tell that the speakers just aren't as good. I know that shouldn't be a big deal either. I should probably just go buy a real fan and have real white noise. But still, some people might not appreciate that lower speaker quality, and if the speaker is really important to you, you might go towards the Pro or the Pro Max. One little extra bonus about this phone is you got to try out the AI features, and so now you can use the camera control button to actually pull up the AI. So if you just press and hold that camera control button and then just point your phone at something, you have 2 buttons there. You can either ask ChatGPT about what you're looking at, or you can search Google immediately. And it gives you some pretty cool, impressive results. I've been having fun just walking around checking out visual intelligence and what it can tell me about the world. Play around with that. I think you'll have a good time. All right, so after a week with the iPhone Air, would I get this phone again if I had to do over? And the answer is absolutely. The only bad thing about it is I want to use it more and the battery dies. That's about it. That and the speaker issue, I could probably live with that. This is definitely my favorite phone of this year. Let me know if you have questions about this phone. Leave a comment below. I'll check those out. That's all I got for you. If you like this sort of content, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.